The mist formed into a vast marble hall with great doors. At its center stood a cloaked being, draped in darkness, face hidden. I later called this presence the Grim Reaper. With one gesture, he indicated the doors as if I had to choose. But before I could decide, one door opened and I was already moving through it. Welcome to Let's Lift the Veil. Today you will discover the extraordinary story of a woman who, through two near-death experiences, crossed into mysterious realms, encountered unearthly presences, and glimpsed the eternal continuity of life beyond death. Take a moment to settle in and open your mind. This powerful and moving testimony may forever change the way you see existence. Before we begin, make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hit the notification bell, and leave a like to help share these profound stories with the world. I have lived through two near-death experiences that forever changed the course of my life. The first occurred on September 23, 1973, during childbirth. The second happened on February 2, 1992, during an ectopic pregnancy. Back in 1973, I was completely unprepared for what childbirth really was. I came from a dysfunctional family, and had grown up with a cold, selfish mother who treated her children as obstacles to her having fun. I had no guidance, no tenderness, and no preparation to become a mother. When the violent convulsions struck me during labor, I didn't even know that this was life-threatening. My entire body shook uncontrollably until suddenly I convulsed out of my body. I found myself floating near the ceiling of the delivery room watching, as my body continued to shake below, with a doctor and nurse attending to it. Then I was pulled upward through the ceiling, into a tunnel that led me into a clouded space. The mist formed into a vast marble hall with great doors. At its center stood a cloaked being, draped in darkness, face hidden. I later called this presence the Grim Reaper. With one gesture, he indicated the doors as if I had to choose. But before I could decide, one door opened and I was already moving through it. I was instantly immersed in another life, another time, another body. It was a past life. I smelled smoke from a nearby fire and carried a child in my arms. Beside me stood a woman I recognized instantly. She was my grandmother in this life, but here she had been my mother, my sister, my cousin, countless times before. Our souls had danced together through time. She showed me how to wrap my child against the cold, how to fasten the cloth to keep my hands free, as we foraged for wood. Then tragedy struck. As I laid my child on the woodpile for just a moment, a female wolf leaped and seized it. The horror was unspeakable. With nothing but a stick, I sprang forward without hesitation. I locked eyes with the wolf, and in that instant, it dropped my child, but sank its teeth into my arm. In that bite, something mystical happened. The spirit of the she-wolf merged with mine. When I awoke back in the hospital, I realized that this spirit had been given to me, to grant me the strength I would need to raise my child in this life. Years later, in 1992, I experienced my second NDE during surgery for an ectopic pregnancy. I bled heavily, and they cooled my body with ice. Again, I found myself in the marble room, though this time the Reaper was absent. Instead, I encountered the soul of the child I was losing. This child spoke to me gently. "Do not worry, I will return before the end of the year." When I awoke, I carried that message in my heart. and weeks later my sister-in-law discovered she was pregnant. When her baby was born, I recognized him instantly as the very soul I had met in the beyond. During these NDEs, time ceased to exist. Everything happened at once. My senses were heightened beyond anything earthly. I saw things both solid and transparent. I felt unspeakable peace, overwhelming joy, and a unity with the universe itself. I saw a mystical, brilliant light, had visions of past lives, future glimpses, even pieces of the world's future. I understood that life never ends. Life itself creates the universe. It is eternal, unbreakable, and woven into everything. My life, behind the veil. Since my NDEs, my outlook on life has completely shifted. My religious practice remains moderate, but my perspective has grown much broader. I no longer see faith as confined to one doctrine. Instead, I see religions as different windows into the same truth. I did not return with psychic gifts in the traditional sense, but I did return with a strength and wisdom that I had never known before. I now carry an unshakable trust in the continuity of life, and in the presence of those we have loved and lost. My grandmother, whom I had recognized in so many lifetimes, confirmed to me before her passing that she, too, remembered our shared existences. That moment of recognition remains etched into my soul. Sharing my experiences with others has not always been easy. In my family, many dismissed my words, too caught up in their own struggles. Only my other grandmother listened with seriousness and understanding. Yet even when others doubted, my conviction remained unwavering. What I lived was undeniably real. These memories are carved into my being. They remind me that we are far more than flesh and bone, that we are bound by eternal, invisible threads, and that our journey never truly ends. Today I live with a profound inner peace, an openness to spirituality, and the unshakable certainty that love, under all its forms, is the force that binds our existence and carries us beyond death itself. Thank you for listening to this near-death experience. This powerful testimony reminds us that life does not end with death. It continues in unseen dimensions, filled with light, encounters, and revelations. If this story moved you, please share it with others and let us know your thoughts in the comments. What do you think about the vision of the afterlife described here? Don't forget to like, to subscribe for more profound experiences, and join this growing community as we lift the veil on the mysteries of life and what lies beyond. Please take care of yourself and your loved ones. See you soon for another journey beyond the veil.